Hello, everybody at home. Get excited. I know my tone's not excited, but you need to get excited so that I can feed off your excitement. Get excited at home. We're talking about Halloween Ends. This is Only Stupid Answers, where we answer your questions about movies, TV shows, comic books, Halloween's, slashers. We're going to be talking about our favorite slashers and slasher movies today. I am your host, DJ Wooldridge. With me, as always, is Roxy Stryer. Roxy.
DJ.
Yeah. Are you a final girl? Have you had to deal with a slasher?
Yeah, I am a final girl. They just didn't know.
What if you were like, oh yeah, no, see, all my friends were killed. It was a big deal. It's kind of fucked up that you mentioned it.
I can't believe that you just brought that up after knowing my truth. I was talking to friend of this show, Dorina, the other day about this. I've never heard the term final boy.
Yes.
Apparently, there are final boys as well. I didn't know.
Oh, not as enshrined, I guess, in the cultural lexicon. Final boys.
No. So DJ, though, I'll ask you back. Are you a final boy?
No, I'm not. I think I'm thinking about the slasher movies I've watched, and I feel like I'm number 3 on the docket. I'm not the first one that goes. I'm the one that maybe you think, okay, he's like 6'6", maybe he can, and then he dies. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess, everything's on the table. Where do you?
I think I'm actually second to last.
Second to last, I feel like that tracks because I feel like you're like the likable, like you're the one that everybody likes, and you're like, well, don't kill this one, and so they have to. They're almost obligated to save you near the end so that people don't tune out.
I think also. I'm a sacrifice yourself at the very end for the other person to live. Usually the second to last, it's like, no.
Yeah. And then everybody's like, not that character. And then they're like, but this one lived. And you're like, I don't care. I don't care about that one.
I don't even care about you, Corey.
God damn it. Fucking. Oh my God.
Wasn't exactly relevant to what we were talking about, but I just wanted
to anyway, listen, we're gonna get there, but before we do that, let me tell you about the show, everybody who's listening. Wherever you're listening to this, thank you. If you're on iTunes, give us 5 stars. If you're on Spotify, we ask a question every week. Last week's question was, what other Z-list Marvel characters would you like to see get their own standalone specials like Werewolf by Night? Hiram Austin, Gonpot. He told me how to spell his first name, and now I fucked up his last name. God damn it. Says,
what's wrong with you?
God damn it. I'm just a fool. I'm a fool, Roxy. Maybe a Karnak special, similar to the one where one Warren Ellis. Similar to that one Warren Ellis miniseries. I'm gonna get through today, guys. Everybody, just believe in me. Also, DC should do this with characters like the Creeper, Deadman, or Ragman. Agreed. Austin says, I need Sleepwalker. I need it like the blood in my veins. Good call, Austin. And Ray Alvarez says, I think Better Ray Bill could benefit from a shorter intro like this one. Also, this character called 3D Man, who's basically a mix of two brothers, a darker iteration of the Wonder Twins concept. Ray, yes to the Better Ray Bill thing, because I've been waiting for Better Ray Bill to show up for a minute now, and if it's through a one-off special instead of like a Thor movie, because
I don't know about Better Ray Bill.
Better Ray Bill is he was introduced in I want to say it was Walt Simonson's run, and I want to say it was in the 70s. Somebody at home is yelling at me right now, but basically he is a horse-headed alien who is worthy of wielding Mjolnir, and then Odin gives him his own hammer. Which is Stormbreaker.
Is he Asgardian?
He is not. He's a completely different alien, and his world was destroyed by Surtur, who is the horned fire dude at the end of Ragnarok that destroyed Valhalla.
It's funny when you say his name because it sounds like you're a Valley girl saying battery. Battery Bill.
Battery Bill.
Battery.
But it's one of the. He's just cool. He's just this cool alien, weird-looking, horse-headed alien dude.
He's a good guy.
Good guy, very good guy. Some might say even a gooder guy than Thor, because Thor kind of fucks up. He's kind of a fuck up.
He's a better Ray than Thor.
Boom, nailed it. But yeah, there's an episode of Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes that has Beta Ray Bill, and there was a recent Daniel Warren Johnson comic that follows the character that's really good. So I'm a big fan.
Okay, I
Also,
believe you.
thank you. Also, if you're listening to the show and you're like, God damn it, I want more of this show, you can do that over at patreon.com/onlystupid answers. We have a show called What We're Into, where we talk about the stuff we can't fit in this show, like the She-Hulk finale, which I'm very excited to talk about, and you can listen to us talk about over at Patreon. I also have a show with Sal called Spider-Versity. We're talking about Morbius. The Morbius episodes are dropping. That's fun. And you can also watch these episodes live without ads. What the fuck are you doing? Get over to our Patreon. Now, with that done, let's get into some news. Because, Roxy, we discussed last week, I believe, time blurs together, that Blade lost its director. The new Blade, Mahershala Ali starring Blade, lost its director. And now it has been delayed, and subsequently, every other movie has been delayed.
Yeah. And they all got delayed in the same consecutive order that they were previously announced in.
Yes.
Which makes me think that there are some ties to things, because it was a little bit weird what took what slot. Like, instead of leaving movies in slots that they were in, we moved them 2 months so that they could still come out in the exact same order,
Yeah.
as opposed to pushing movies into the later slot. I thought that was interesting.
Instead of like musical chairsing like Blade around to like a later.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like, if Blade moves one down, everything moves one down.
Yeah, because that's a great point, because Blade was supposed to be November 3rd, 2023, and now comes out almost a year later in September 6th, 2024. Deadpool goes from the September 6th date to November 8th, 2024. Fantastic Four goes from that date, November 8th, to February 14th, 2025. And then Secret Wars, I think something else completely dropped from the schedule entirely, one of the unnamed ones. And then Secret Wars goes from November 7th, 2025 to May 1st, 2026.
Right. So essentially what I'm saying is Blade went into Deadpool 3's spot.
Mm-hmm.
But Deadpool 3 only moved 2 months later to where Fantastic Four was.
Yes.
So it's obvious that they didn't think Deadpool 3 needed to get pushed. They are doing it because Blade took its spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then, but why would Blade not have taken Fantastic Four spot in November and just leave Deadpool there if there's no rhyme or reason to the order of these movies? So I think that there must be.
I think I think also just giving themselves more time. Like, it's because they've already had some shenanigans with Fantastic Four. Secret Wars is Secret War. You know what I mean? Like, if they push that 6 months, that's going to be a massive endeavor. So it might have just been buying themselves more time, just getting themselves more time. So it's like, yeah, let's use Blade as an excuse to push goddamn everything. Just push everything back.
But it is a little weird that Fantastic Four was supposed to be that November spot for them.
Yeah.
Which seems like exactly where it would be, but it got moved to Valentine's Day. And it's like,
because family, Roxy, because family.
And Deadpool, which is supposed to close out the summer, in that September spot, got moved to that November spot, which like just doesn't. It was totally fine. It just is not as like matching to the season as it initially was.
Yeah, and so here's the things Blade is just straight up skipping over. So here's the thing that Blade was supposed to come out before, then now Blade is coming out after. Blade is coming out after Ironheart, according to the schedule they dropped at Comic-Con. Ironheart, Agatha, Coven of Chaos, Daredevil, Born Again, Captain America, New World Order, and Thunderbolts. Now, so all those stuff was supposed to come out after Blade. Now that stuff is coming out before Blade. Blade is taking the Fantastic Four spot.
So what do you make of that?
I don't know. Here's my main thing. I feel like maybe you should have like figured out what you wanted to do with your Blade movie before you announced your Blade movie. Maybe just having Mahershala Ali say, "I want to be Blade," isn't enough to like, "Hey, we're doing a Blade." Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe because this seems chaotic to the point where I'm not involved in any of this stuff, but it's kind of stressing me out, and I'm not involved in any of this stuff.
I hear you. I think that luckily none of this is being pushed like um 20 with the 2022 dates, 2023 dates. Like
Yes.
we're so far in advance that it hopefully is not that stressful for them. I think that right now, I think it's all stemming from the Blade lack of Blade director.
Yes.
You would think this movie would be pretty easy to find a director for it.
Yeah, it's Blade. Like
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
like people like Blade. You could probably just pull out. You could just redo the Blade 2 script with Mahershala Ali and everybody. It would make money.
yeah. I'm just kind of surprised with like, what a hard time that they're having here. I'm curious what's going on.
Let's elaborate on that. Why do you think are they? Do you think maybe they're struggling with? Should it be R? Should it be not R? Like maybe they don't know what to do with like a more horror centric character like Blade. Like how does that fit in the MCU? Why do you think they're struggling with Blade?
I think that anytime that you have to change directors, you got to make sure you're only doing that shit once. You
Flash.
know, yeah, I was literally just thinking that. Who even is it Muschietti that's directing
Yeah,
Flash that
yeah.
ended up directing? There was like 15 people on that project first, wasn't it? Lord and Miller, like
Yeah,
when
yeah. Lord Miller, I think we're supposed to do a draft. I don't know they were ever announced to directing. The guy that did Dope was supposed to direct it at one point. Some random dude that has never done anything was like, they're our director now, and now he's doing the Green Lantern series, which I don't know if that's even still happening.
weird. Yeah, I don't know. I think that so they really want to get it right, but also they like it's not their biggest project.
Yes.
So yeah, but I just feel like this is not that difficult to pair. It's like got a tone, and it's not like completely unproven property with no idea what this could be. Like it's not like picking the director for Guardians the first time, where it's like we don't know,
Yeah.
James Gunn. Let's see what you got. Like
Yeah.
I feel like this should just be so much more clear cut, but and there's like so many articles online. I don't know if you've been looking at them, or they pop up on my Twitter all the time. Who should direct Blade?
hmm
And when I look through them, it's literally like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Pick
oh
one.
yeah, could see it.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. What do you think, DJ?
I think your confusion. I agree with your confusion, where it's just like it's because it's Blade. So just look at the two Blade movies that everybody likes and do one of those. And also, but it's not like Spider-Man, where now there's like the compulsion that you would feel the need to do something different from what's been done before, like because we've already got like 5 Spider-Man movies. So what are we going to do with the Tom Holland ones that make them different? It's just like there's 2 Blade movies. They like do another one that's like those and call it a day. Like it's not it's Blade. Like I feel like they were able to turn out Werewolf by Night. It seems like in a pretty clear cut fashion. It's like, yeah, just, and I think what maybe helps with that is that it doesn't matter how Werewolf by Night fits into the MCU thing. And that's my feeling on Blade. Like, does it matter where maybe there's something, because there's those projects we don't know about. And clearly they're building out their supernatural wing with Werewolf by Night and Doctor Strange and all that stuff. So maybe Blade matters more than I'm giving it credit for. Like, no, Blade's where we're setting up the Midnight Suns or wherever, and this is how we're going to get to Ghost Rider and this team up with our supernatural heroes. And I think my instinct is like, well, maybe just do a Blade movie. I don't know what to tell you. Just do a Blade and then and then just do a stinger, or do what She-Hulk did and just have it be a joke at the end. Like, hey, here's the thing they want us to do to set up the next franchise or whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter. Ghost Rider just pops in and is like, hi, I'm here. And then we roll credits. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, I wouldn't care either. Let me throw some names at you from this article. This is Screen Rant. You tell me what you
Please.
think. How would you feel about Jordan Peele?
Yeah. He wouldn't do it, but fuck you. Of course, if you could get Jordan Peele to do anything, do that.
That would be sick. How do you feel about Sam Raimi?
Of course. I'm still thinking, you and I disagree on this. I still think they're trying to get Sam Raimi for Secret Wars. Especially now that they got
you and I very much so disagree on this.
Now that they've got the writer from Multiverse of Madness, it's like I feel like they're getting ready. I feel like Sam Raimi's their top pick for Secret Wars.
Okay, how do you feel about do you know F. Gary Gray's stuff?
Yeah, he did a few Fast and Furious. He did that Straight out of Compton. No, I mean it'd be fine. It'd be fine. I think he's fine. Like if you compare him to the other Fast and Furious directors like James Wan, and the other name just literally leaped from my brain. He's fine. Yeah, it'd be fine.
What about Dan Trachtenberg, who just did that movie that you liked?
Prey. Yeah,
Yeah.
he'd be great.
Great. So we're not struggling here. Also on this list, Barry Jenkins. That would be interesting. I wonder how he would do with this.
Moonlight, Barry Jenkins.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be well directed. I don't know that I see him doing a Blade movie.
It would look beautiful.
Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez is on this list.
Of course. Of fucking course.
Yeah. Every person that I'm scrolling by, I'm just like, I think they should just start putting out offers. This other list has James Wan on it, Edgar Wright. I just feel like any of these names that we hear, we'd be like, yes, that's totally fine. Let's go with that.
Yeah, it's Blade. Great. It's Mahershala Ali. It really feels like this is a hard one to fuck up. I will say, I'll go back to, we talked about it last week with Dorina. I'll go back to my choice of Gareth Evans, who did The Raid and the horror movie The Apostle. He can do both action and horror. And I feel like for a Blade, those are the two things.
There are a lot of these things saying getting an action director would be cool. Mm-hmm. Lee Winnell, who did the Invisible Man reboot.
Great. He would be fantastic. I think he's working on a werewolf movie right now. It was supposed to be Ryan Gosling. I don't know if that's still the case. But
Mike Flanagan is on this list, which would be interesting. I'm like completely obsessed with Midnight Club right now. I can't wait to finish it. Guillermo del Toro's on this list. Jordan Peele's on everybody's list.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro would be great if you could give him like 4 years. How long can we wait for this Blade movie?
Apparently not too long, because everything else has to move when it moves.
And when it moves, everything else moves with it. Yeah, Guillermo del Toro would be fantastic. If you'd announced Guillermo del Toro back when you announced Mahershala Ali, maybe that would have worked out.
Totally.
And Edgar Wright,
just saying it's not difficult.
Yeah.
So what's happening? Are they just disagreeing with everybody that they're bringing in? Are they pitching people and nobody's seeing eye to eye on whatever it is that's happening?
Well, I also wonder what they disagreed with the director that they had, what the disagreement there was. Do you think we're getting Deadpool 3, and by all accounts, Deadpool 3 will be R? Do we think they're going to make Blade R, or, is Deadpool the one that kind of gets grandfathered in and everything else remains PG-13?
Oh, I don't know. What do you think?
I think, having rewatched Blades 1 and 2, I don't actually think it's that hard to make them PG-13.
You had said that because you had said that it's like the way that it holds up, but I don't know. What are the rules? What rules are we playing with here?
You can't have too much gore.
The rules of Disney.
Oh, great question. I don't know. But the rules I'm under, I know people have said, no, Deadpool 3 will be rated R. I'll believe it when I see it. Because that's when it comes to the rules of Disney, I think the rule I've been led to believe is PG-13 almost always.
Right?
Yeah.
Like is there a Disney one? Since we've been with the Disney era, has there been an R?
Nope.
Across the board, anything?
The only Disney used to run Touchstone, and Touchstone had R-rated movies, but again, that's a different brand, that's a different umbrella. I think Disney's all about the brand. You're not going to get a movie with that little Disney, the Cinderella's castle or what, Sleeping Beauty's castle, whatever castle is, that Disney logo, and have it be above PG. Same thing with Pixar. Marvel, not going to be above PG-13. I know we're saying Deadpool will be. It's got Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in it. I don't know that people are going to not see it if it's PG-13. You know what I mean? Like, I think they'll be able to get away with it being PG-13. Would it be cool? I mean, I think it would be cool if they had a way to designate a branding that's like, hey, Blade, Punisher, those things are for more mature audiences. They are still technically part of the universe, but, we get to do a little bit more adult things with them. I just don't believe that's the case.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I think that I care less about ratings than other people sometimes, because it does feel a little bit arbitrary.
Oh, 100% is.
So, even when it's like, sometimes you'll see something and it will have multiple shits or multiple fucks or
Mhm.
whatever, and you're just like, how'd you get away with that thing? Or like sometimes it's only one and then it's PG-13, and then you're like, what? But then it wasn't even that much sex or like anything going on, like what or anything. So I don't read too much into it. I know that other people who are like diehard Blade fans are like very, very dead set on this being R,
Mhm.
which I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But also I'm kind of like, I don't think it bothers me that much.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think again, I just want to see Mahershala Ali kick ass as Blade. I kind of don't care if it's. I mean, I don't need it to be R. What are you going to do that makes it R? Like,
Make a pirate. R.
R. Yeah.
Get it? Was that a good Joker now?
Let's say yes.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
Let's
that.
say
I
yes.
could use the win. So
Boom.
yeah,
Put
thank
that
you.
in the W column.
Yeah, I'm with you too though, because I love Mahershala Ali. I really want to see him in whatever. I almost feel like this is such a dumb comment to make, but like almost feel like he kind of directs himself.
Hmm.
Like he's gonna, I think he's been living with this character for a minute now. No matter what, I think he's gonna be able to do a good job on it. In the meantime, I'm very satisfied with whenever he pops up on Rami.
You know who? Wait, does he show up this season in season 3?
I don't want to say
Okay,
anymore.
okay. I just got to episode
No,
5, which
I
follows.
don't. I also don't want to get your hopes up.
Okay,
But I think there was like a previously on
okay.
where because you had to see what had happened, but whenever he pops up on Rami, as in season 2,
Yeah.
uh, it was like just the best.
I just got to the episode 5, which mostly follows the sister and the mom, and I feel like the show.
I told you that's what they were doing this year.
Yeah, and we got the dad in a previous episode, and I feel like the show's going out of its way to let you know, like, Rami's not the only fuck up. Rami, the whole family kind of sucks.
Wait, what? So what mom sister episode was that one?
So this is where the mom is trying to hook up her daughter with this guy that
Okay,
clearly
yep,
the
yep,
mom wants to hook up with,
yep,
and
yep, yep.
the daughter coerces that dude into sex, and it's like, this is super fucked up. This is
And he's like, "We're getting married."
yeah,
Right?
and she like it's like, I know this isn't usually the language we usually use the language around this for guys coercing women, but you are 100% coercing this guy into sex.
I'm really excited for you to see where that storyline goes.
Oh, cool! I thought maybe we were done after the end
No,
of that
yeah,
episode, and I was
we're
like,
not.
that's
I
man.
thought.
I
Are
can't.
you as into this season as you have been into the season 2 and season 1?
Yes.
It's so effing good. It is crazy. I think that I tweeted this out and I said this is for about 5 of you
Mhm.
because nobody's finished. A, nobody's watching Rami. B,
Yeah.
nobody's finished the season as quickly as I did because I don't know why this show drops all at once. That makes no
No,
sense.
should
But
not.
no, it definitely should not. I think that's severely hurting the show.
Yeah.
But I thought there is a callback to something in the final episode that I think is one of the like top 10 best callbacks on a TV show I've ever seen.
Cool.
It was so well done that I was like, oh my God, I love it here.
Incredible.
I love it here.
It's so. Yeah, it's a great show. That family really needs to work some shit out. They're all they
They're
keep
all
making.
fucked up. The uncle, everybody.
Oh my god, the uncle. Last name I'd like to throw in the hat for Blade. You said Mahershala Ali kind of directs himself. Made me think of True Detective. He was in the third season of True Detective. The first few episodes of that were directed by Jeremy Saulnier, who did
Oh,
Green
interesting.
Room and Blue Ruin. And he would probably never do a Marvel movie, but it would be very good. He would do a very good job. Anybody that's seen Green Room knows that boy can direct. And he's worked with Mahershala Ali before. So as long as that relationship was good.
Yeah, I feel like maybe it would actually be a good idea, DJ, for Marvel to go to Mahershala and be like,
Who do you like?
anybody you want to work with?
I actually think that's a really good point because there's some especially like big action guys, like I think The Rock have like their guys that they always go to, and you kind of want to be like, hey man, maybe branch out, you know what I mean, maybe like branch out a little bit. But like Mahershala Ali, give or take a Green Book, has a pretty good track record of people he's worked with.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, would any of those guys want to direct you in a Blade movie?
I just really now want Jordan Peele to do this.
Yes. Don't get your hopes up because he doesn't need it. He doesn't need Blade. He doesn't need a Blade.
I feel like we should all tweet at him. Yo, Jordan Peele. Can you, how do you feel, man?
You want some of that Marvel money?
But I don't even know that Marvel wants that because I think Marvel's like,
No.
we don't want a director to do their thing. We
We want a
our
director to do our thing. Listen, it's ad time. We're going to go on a quick ad break and then we're going to come back. Enough stalling. We got to talk about it. Halloween Ends. Hello, everybody. Welcome back from those beautiful, lovely ads. Thank you, ads, for helping us keep the lights on. So let's talk about Halloween Ends. Came out this week in theaters and on Peacock. The saga of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode comes to a spine-chilling climax in this final installment of this trilogy. By the way, this isn't the first time Laurie Strode and Michael Myers' conflict has come to a climax, but sure. It's directed by David Gordon Green, written by Paul Brad Loga, Chris Bernier, Danny McBride, and David Gordon Green. Oh, Roxy, I have so many.
DJ.
I have so many questions. Let's start with the fact that I kind of thought Halloween Kills was awful, like just genuinely hard to watch. And I think this is not Halloween Ends. By the way, we're going to do full spoilers because fuck it. Full spoilers to Halloween Ends. If you're excited for Halloween Ends, tune back in next week. We're going to do spoilers. I think part of what made Halloween Kills hard to watch is that it felt like from scene to scene, characters just sprang into existence. Like what had happened previously wasn't informing their decisions. Like every scene, the rules were being rewritten and characters were making decisions completely inconsistent with the information they'd been given previously. And it just felt like a mess. And yeah. I don't feel like this is as bad as that, but some of that DNA still exists. Mostly we're following Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode, of course, and she is now living with her granddaughter, Allison, played by Andy Matichak. I hope I pronounced that right. And Allison, the opening sequence is the best part of this movie. We're introduced to Corey. Allison sees Corey, who is just a walking red flag. It's just like he and nothing against the actor. He's playing it the way he was directed to play it. But in my opinion, Corey is like the most unappealing dude in the planet. Like he's just kind of sweaty and hunched and spoilers, he killed a kid. It was an accident, but it's still like a thing. Like that's still like there. And for some reason, Allison takes one look at this guy and is like, yeah, that's my dude. And I'm like, fucking why? Fucking what's going on in your brain?
To the point where I thought she was trying to do something. Like, because I was like, oh, maybe she's trying to get a confession out of him about what happened or see if like he really did hear Michael or whatever. Because I was like, this girl's smart and she's not trying to date this guy. But then I was like, oh, wait, what?
Yeah, no, she's like head over heels for this dude for reasons I can't explain to you. I don't understand. I mean, like he's an actor. He's an actor in a movie. He's been on TV shows. He's obviously an objectively attractive person, but this character's unattractive.
Unattractive. And I have a lot of love for this actor because I think that he was given a really tough task. Mm-hmm. But for the character, I was like, what the? So, DJ, what is your understanding of how old they are in this movie?
One wonderful question. Weren't they supposed to be in high school in the previous two movies? The main girl, the Allison.
So,
or college. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I know that when Homeboy is babysitting, he says like 21-year-olds don't get afraid of things.
Yes.
So how many years have passed since he killed the kid?
It's 2019. I think this is supposed to take place in 2022. So 3 years. Okay,
so is your understanding that he's 24 then?
Sure. Oh, and he's getting picked on by fucking like band students, high school kids that are in the school band. Those are his bullies. What the fuck?
So he looks 30. He is 24, and she is same, maybe.
Let's say same. I mean, she's working as a nurse.
Which like
takes schooling.
Like my friends who are nurses weren't able to. So you graduate, then you have to go to nursing school. I mean, I guess theoretically, I've never met a nurse that young, but
Yeah.
I guess she could be in her mid 20s.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay. Um, it's just like not how things are done. They are treating them like they're still 16, where like you see a guy mopey and you're like, him. But like this girl has lived through a lot,
Yeah.
and that part of the story didn't make sense. And then what made even less sense was the apprentice storyline.
Are you referring to Michael Myers, I guess, possessing his soul or something? Question mark.
Is that what you gathered from that?
I
Like
think
when they kept being like, I saw the guy who killed the kid was he didn't do it, but this guy, I looked in his eyes, it was him. Is that what you're referring to, the possession part?
yes, that is what I don't know. I feel like these movies are trying to have their cake and eat it too. They want to go back to the original Halloween where Michael is just a dude that represents something more, but at the end of the day is a dude. He's not Freddy or Jason. There's nothing explicitly supernatural about him, except maybe. And it's like I pick a lane is because he's also old as shit. Michael Myers is like fucking 80 at this point.
Yeah, part of me was like, this man living in the cave found Michael Myers' mask. It's not him. And
Okay,
but
maybe. What if they didn't kill Michael Myers? God damn it.
and then
She pulls off the mask and like, I got you. Oh my God, what if it's not fucking Michael Myers?
I was like, huh. So if homeboy Corey can just take the mask,
Yeah.
who's to say that this man in the cave didn't just take the mask?
God fucking damn it. And I love like just throwing so many red flags all over the place. And this ties into how everybody treats Laurie. Because I guess, and maybe I don't remember the past two movies that well, but everybody's like, Laurie, this is your fault. And I'm like, fucking how?
That was actually really one of my favorite parts of the movie, because I was like, I think that oftentimes somebody who tries to help is blamed for things, and
Fair.
I feel like it was possibly realistic that people would be like, you welcome this back into our lives, you fuck. And
Okay. Totally buy that. I see what you're saying. What I have trouble with is Alice and her granddaughter who went with this stuff through was like,
that part
no,
made no sense. No,
this is
that
my
part-
guy. And it's like, no, time out. Let me remind you, Allison, I've been right about this stuff for 3 movies. Every time I'm like, we should be worried about Michael. Plot twist, we should have been worried about Michael. So maybe when I say your dude is giving me bad vibes, maybe that I'm your grandmother. We like each other.
And when Allison's like, but you killed because of you, all my friends are dead. My mom is dead, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, Allison, you don't believe that, bro. Like, you're acting, they wrote her like the character was 16.
Yeah.
And she's not. She's like holding down a job. And we see at that job, she deserves a promotion. She's good at what she does. She's level headed.
Yeah.
Like, so on the one hand, they're writing her like she's this mature mid 20s whatever woman, but on the other hand, they're writing her like she's a 16-year-old who's like trying to just stick it to the man and date the worst guy she can find. And I was like, this character doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah,
she doesn't make sense. I don't relate. The saving grace of any one of these movies, I actually like the first one, the second one was not good. The saving grace of any of these movies obviously is Jamie Lee Curtis, who is just like, no matter what movie you put her in, she's still a fucking stud.
Yeah.
And while Michael Myers is getting old, Jamie Lee Curtis is getting older, but I believe every single motion of hers. Like, there's nothing she does that I'm like, nah, that's like, I just think that she is so good. So when we finally get to the fight, I at least had something to enjoy. I thought it was the one very clever thing was that moment she calls, she says, I want to report a suicide.
Okay, help me. Because that I found that confusing. Because I was like, who is this for? Like, why is she? What why?
It was for Michael to hear her and then hear the gunshot and the pumpkin on the floor, thinking that she's dead, but not actually Michael. What Corey?
Yeah.
But she hears him in the house.
Okay. It just felt like, are we doing bits for Michael now? Why don't you just like hide in a room and then when he shows up, shoot him?
I didn't know that was her way of. I don't know if she knew at the time that it was Corey or if it was Michael or whatever. It's her way of finding out. So cool. I thought that really worked. There were moments that I did like. I loved the intro. I thought that the opening sequence was great, really well done with the kid dying, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm invested right now." They lost me super quick after that.
Same. It was like because the kid bit. I was like, wow, that was genuinely kind of fucking shocking. And I also liked when it became like when it became a Halloween movie and they start actually like killing people. It's like, yeah, slasher,
Right.
yeah.
So those are the two parts for me also. Why they thought we would in any way, shape, or form be more invested in Corey than we were in the Strode
Yeah,
family.
and Lori and fucking Jamie Lee Curtis.
I don't know. That was the massive mistake that this movie made, being like, this audience is going to really care about this guy.
Yeah.
And I haven't met one person yet who really cared about him. So that was a problem. Again, not the actor's fault.
Yes.
Not at all. But like, why would you? This is the end of this. This is Halloween ends. And you're going to focus on a dude that we don't know and we don't care about and isn't a good dude.
Yeah. Jumping off of the isn't a good dude, between this and Kills, what, if anything, do you think these movies are trying to say about mental health? Because it's like, this makes me uncomfortable because it feels like this weird, like, hey, listen, we should take mental health seriously, but also this dude's fucking crazy. And it's like, wait.
I was confused on what this movie. I don't even know that I can get to that part until I know what this movie was trying to say about Corey. Like, were they saying he killed a kid on accident? The town was bullying him. They shouldn't have done that because accidents happen. And if society hadn't stepped in, this kid would have been okay. Or were they saying he was still okay until he met Michael? Michael possessed him, and this is all a Michael thing. Like I couldn't tell what this movie's perspective on Corey was.
Yes. That this movie was confusing in that I want to say they were aiming for both of the things you just said. What I don't think worked was it because we keep being told that the town turned on Corey, but all of the characters we know are like, yeah, you go, Corey. I'm rooting for you, Corey. To the point where I was kind of like, I don't know, guys. I think we should be worried about Corey. I think we should. And I think what would have worked better is if like Jamie Lee Curtis was immediately like, no, Corey's fucking weird. And the cop was like, Corey's fucking weird. And everybody was like dogging him. And then, because then I think my empathy would have kicked in and I would have been like, hey, it was an accident, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. I think it was weird when we have that opening scene. I kind of thought it wasn't going to be relevant to anything else in the movie. Like I was hoping that that was just like a cold open of like what the state of the town is right now.
Yes.
Because I think that the other problem is that we all have different perspectives on what he did and if it was wrong or okay. Like I don't mean it that those drastic terms, but to me, this guy still killed this kid and he the kid was being a little fuck, of course.
Yeah.
But we all are little fucks when you have a babysitter and you're like, whatever. And he kicked down the door
Yes.
Like immediately was like, let me the fuck out, let me the fuck like
overreacted. I think it's safe to say overreacted.
And I was like, I can't tell you why I know this for sure, but like I would never be in the scenario that you're in right now. So I feel bad for you that you killed somebody and have to live with that for the rest of your life. But I also think like immediately move.
Yeah.
Like don't live there. Don't make those parents see you. It's not nice. Like that's yes, it is fucked up for you also, but like you did do this. You did it.
Yeah.
It's an accident, but you did it.
Get out.
You know, it's like vehicular manslaughter. You didn't mean to kill somebody, but you did. You did. You took somebody else's life. This was a child.
Yeah.
So like what you're doing by staying in this town is fucked up. That kid was somebody's kid. It was somebody's best friend. It was, you know, and they have to see you all the time. Now, these other kids, they felt like they had no reason to be fucking with him. I was confused. I wish that those kids had been like
the other kid's friend or something.
Or something, or like big brother, you know, if it had been his big brother, there wasn't one of those, but like something that made me understand why these kids are just going so hard in the paint at this one guy.
Well, they're doing that so that when they get killed, we're like, yeah, fuck yeah.
I thought that was a sick scene actually when she got stuck under the fence.
Yeah. And she was the one nice one, but it's for the most part, like the other nurse and the doctor, like most of the characters, like you know who's going to die because they're begging for it. Like
Yeah.
anybody who's seen a slasher movie, it's like, oh man, you guys are like testing fate by how much of an asshole you're being.
Totally, totally. DJ, overall, I know we talked a little bit at the beginning, but like with it and a little bit about the actual Halloween parts of it, but was there anything else you think was really well done in it, like the way it looked or the soundtrack?
I think part of what the soundtrack, great. John Carpenter
Great.
came back to do the score, I believe, with his son. I think the soundtracks are the best parts of these reboot movies. And I will say, I think if it didn't look as good as it did, if it felt more like a cheesy 80s slasher, I think I'd be more okay with how incomprehensible a lot of the decision making is from the characters. But it almost looks and feels like an A24 type horror, and I have higher expectations of those. One scene that really stuck with me, I don't know about you, Roxy, is when Corey goes to take the mask from Michael and they fight in the sewer drain or whatever it is, and it's shot from the sewer drain. I was like, oh, this looks cool. It's staged well. I'm into this. I don't care. I don't, you know what I mean?
It did look cool.
I was at that point. I was like, okay, this kid's gonna be the new Mike. Like I thought he was gonna make it out of the movie and be like, haha, see, Halloween doesn't end. What about you? Was there anything that like positive?
I actually really loved the way that it sounded, and I liked the way that it looked. I think it did look good. I'm fascinated by David Gordon Green. So I'm just like, wow. So David Gordon Green, number one, did Pineapple Express, which
Yes.
I just rewatched, and nothing for nothing, despite it having James Franco, a very controversial figure,
Yeah.
and Amber Heard, to say the least, a very controversial figure in it. This movie holds the fuck up.
Movie's great. Pineapple Express is great.
It's great. It's one of the best. As a stoner child myself, this is like, to me, the top of the top, the cream of the crop. I love Pineapple Express. He also did a movie called Stronger, which did you ever see Stronger?
Mm-mm.
It was the Jake Gyllenhaal Boston bombing movie.
Oh shit.
That was significantly better than the Patriot Day movie with Mark Wahlberg. So if you're from Boston, you know both of these movies pretty well. You know that one of these movies, the Mark Wahlberg one, was like riots in the street about it. People were fucking outside of the movie theater, like pissed,
Yeah.
protesting because he made up a character that didn't exist. And that person like saves the day.
Cool.
And people just thought that was wildly insensitive. And when it came, it was just like, what the fuck, Mark, you're from here. Why would you do something like this? Like it received no support back home. To the point where I think that they had to like cancel the premiere back there. There were like people were upset.
Yeah.
And then there was this movie, Stronger, which was the Jake Gyllenhaal movie that came out in 2017. So a little more time had passed, and it was about this guy who survived the Boston bombing. He's a real person, Jeff Bauman, and it was excellent.
Yeah.
The movie was really, really well done and tasteful, and like had these things at the end, interviews with people that actually survived and whatnot. Whatever. Anyway, David Gordon Green did that.
Yeah.
So two vastly different tones.
Yeah.
We're talking about there. And then he's done these movies. And then for anybody who doesn't know, I'm a diehard TV fan. He executive produced Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah.
He
Eastbound.
executive produced The Sex Lives of College Girls, which I loved. He executive produced Mythic Quest, which is another one that I'm fucking obsessed with. He EP'd Dickinson, which is like tonally, I feel like when I'm reading Ryan Murphy's credits, you're like, yeah, I 100% could know that Ryan Murphy would do that.
Yeah.
Like this shit that this man does, I'm like, I don't understand. You are all over the map. Everything always looks good at the very least.
Yeah.
So we know that he can do that, but it's like, this is like, he's a weird case.
Yep. Yep.
He's a
All
weird
over the
kid.
place. He did that Nick Cage movie, Joe. He worked on Vice Principals, going back to TV, worked on Vice Principals. I want to say he did episodes of Eastbound and Down, because that's the same like Jodie
Yes,
Hill,
yeah, he
Danny
did, he
McBride. You know what I mean? And so it's like all over the place. Did he do Your Highness? Hold on.
Yeah, he did.
God, that movie was awful.
And it's like, so it's just so, some people are just super hit or miss. And yeah, I don't know what to make of it. Like, if the next project he's slated to direct, I'm gonna be like, could be
Flip a coin.
excellent.
Yeah, flip a coin.
Could be, yeah.
Before we wrap up here, we got some questions from the Discord, and these are all Roxy. How big of a slasher movie fan are you?
I would say that I have seen most of them, like a lot of them, and a lot of them kind of blur together for me.
Totally fair. Totally fair.
How about you?
I would say I like them. I came to horror movies late. I grew up in kind of a conservative Christian household, so it wasn't part of my growing up. So it wasn't until college that I started watching more horror movies, more slasher movies. I don't know that slashers are my favorite, but I do enjoy them. I know my wife is a big Chucky fan, so we've been going through the Chucky movies recently. And they're fun. They're fun. So let's answer some of these questions. Clementine asks, what is the best slasher movie to start with? I'm only just starting to appreciate and seek out horror, but I haven't seen a real slasher yet. Where should I start?
Wow, I have no idea the first one that you should start with ever. Is there something that's popping out? I mean, should you go with one of the big franchise? Like, should it be a Scream or I don't know. What do you think?
I would say hold off on Scream because Scream is such a deconstruction that you kind of want to know, you want to lay your foundation
That's true.
first
That's
before
true.
you. Although the Scream movies, other than I would say the third one, are actually pretty solid across the board. I think the Scream franchise is actually really good. And it's funny too, rewatching the Chucky movies. And then what was I reading? Oh, I was reading about, because the new Hellraiser came out. I haven't seen a lot of the I've seen the first one and the newest one, which sounds like those are the best ones. But it's funny how Scream was such a big impact. Every other slasher franchise was like, well, now suddenly we're doing a movie where there's a movie within the movie. They're making a Hellraiser movie in this Hellraiser movie. You know what I mean? Everybody
Yeah.
tried to mimic Scream. That's how big the impact was. I would say for me, and especially since I started later in life, I would go to, because I feel like for the most part, no slasher is as good as their first movie.
Yeah.
Because that's where they're every slasher as they age becomes more comic as it goes on. So I think I would start where the genre started, which would be Halloween, the original John Carpenter Halloween,
78.
and Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a good one too to start with.
Because both those are still actually scary.
Yeah. I mean, like, Psycho would be a slasher, right?
Yeah, Psycho I think is probably like case zero is like the first kind of one, and
Predates.
Psycho's great.
Yeah, but I'm kind of with you that actually I don't know if I would start with Psycho because it is like that's old school.
Yeah.
I mean, Hitchcock, that's old school at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird that growing up I didn't think of Hitchcock as like the classics,
Yeah.
and now it's like no, well,
Well, I think because a lot of that is, I don't know about your history there, but it's like, because that was our parents' stuff. And so, like, to them, it's the stuff they came up with. So that energy is crossed over to us. You're like, oh, this is just a thing. And, and you also don't appreciate, like, something I've been thinking about is when you are looking at, like, you don't realize like decades pass between these movies. You're like, yeah, Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You're like, yeah, but there's like a 20-year gap between those movies.
yeah, like thinking about Psycho. So Psycho's 1960. So you're telling me Psycho is 62 years ago? Like that's when they made Psycho?
Yeah.
And it's crazy. That's wild. Yeah, I think that's true. I think don't start with Scream. I actually wouldn't start with Friday the 13th either.
Yeah, especially since Friday, everybody knows Jason, and it's like, well, the first Friday the 13th isn't that actually.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you. I think Halloween is a great place to start. Maybe just start with Halloween.
Yeah, start with the first Halloween and gauge. Also, it kind of depends on you want to gauge, if you're new to horror, gauge how much you can like don't start with a Hellraiser. Like don't go into the deep end. Like, kind of like ease your way in. Brenda asks, what slasher trope do you wish would die?
I kind of wish that it would stop making so many people so stupid. Like go back in the house, close the door, stupid.
Yeah.
That trope of like real, especially the girls, like just like you get killed because you're really dumb. And it's like, that's a bummer. Even in the movie that we just saw, it's like, I feel like Allison was stupid.
Yeah.
I was annoyed with her because she felt dumb to me. And
Yeah,
I was like,
especially not even in the like the run in, lock the door, but in the sense of like, why are you so committed to this dude? Also, leave Haddonfield. If your options are this dude and that cop she was dating before, you need to get in a new dating pool. Like this town is not doing you any favors.
totally, totally. Yeah. What about
Um,
you?
I think for me, honestly, I kind of feel like the entire genre needs to like figure its shit out. Like I think just like times have changed. Like I don't know how you do this, but I've spent ever since the 2018 Halloween reboot, I've been thinking about like our relationship culturally to mass killing is different now.
Totally.
I don't know how you reflect that, but I feel like if I were to ever do a slasher, it would be figuring that out. How do I reflect the real life horror of, I mean, I get it. Fucking, for lack of a better word, mass shootings aren't fun. And slasher movies, it's on some level are meant to be like kind of fun and escapey. Um,
Yeah,
but
but it is interesting on that note, DJ, that most slasher films are not gun violence movies.
specifically, they even mentioned in this one, Michael doesn't use guns. Like that's like a positive for him.
Yeah, yeah. And so like a lot of slasher films, you're killing one person at a time.
hmm
You're not
One, it's
which I
also
do
a sense
think,
of like, unless you're in Haddonfield or unless whatever the town scream takes place in, unless you're in like a specific place at a specific time, you're fine.
yeah, yeah. Which I think is interesting though, because in a way, it makes these more tolerable than something like, which I love this franchise, but like John Wick, right?
hmm
Where like that's like a straight up gun movie.
Yes,
The movie is
1000%.
the gun movie,
Yep.
But yeah, I am with you, and I feel like what the direction that we're probably going in is that these movies will probably get a little more politicized
Yeah.
because of who actually dislikes who and like but yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it should go. I mean, the only way to make it feel less real and less like violent and mass shooting is to have it be aliens,
hmm
foreign like aliens of some kind of
Yeah.
like they look different than us. They come here to kill us, whatever.
Yeah.
So unite all of us, some shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah. But I think, yeah, it's just, I feel like the slasher genre just needs to kind of like look at where we're at and kind of evaluate that. And it's tricky. I'm not saying it's not tricky, but that would be interesting to me.
Zombie.
Zombies, zombies with knives, zombie slash. I mean, I guess that's Jason. Jake Hefner asks, "Who is your favorite slasher movie villain?" His is Michael Myers all day.
I don't know. What about you?
Like I said,
I
I'm
go
not
back.
like a massive slasher fan. I see value in all of them. I really like John Carpenter's first Halloween, but I feel like I've been burned a lot by other Michael Myers movies, so I don't think I could say Michael Myers.
I'm super with you. Leatherface is really dope too. I mean,
Leatherface is, I think,
not really dope like the way I just said it, but you know what I mean.
so such a cool dude.
He's super dope. Like I want to set him up with my homies,
Yeah, I
He's my
think
friend Leatherface.
I think for me, it's like I pick it up from people that are close to me. So my wife's a big Chucky fan, so I like Chucky a lot. My best friend loves Leatherface, and so I have an affection for Leatherface. I think for me, I respond more towards, as far as horror icons, either like abstract evils, like something like The Thing, where it's a monster literally without a face. I like the Cenobites a lot, just because the Hellraiser movies are harrowing to get through, but I find the concept of the Cenobites really interesting. But I respond more to like the old Universal horror, Hammer horror, like Frankenstein's my guy. I relate to I for some reason I really connect to Frankenstein's a monster. I think the Invisible Man looks cool. Dracula, you know what I mean? That stuff creates more of an emotional reaction with me than like slashers.
Yeah, I feel you.
Do you not have one? Do you not have
I
one?
don't know if I do. I mean, I said Leatherface a little bit,
Yeah.
Michael Myers, I
Yeah.
think, but like the classics, I guess. I was just thinking about going back to the movie trope conversation that we were having. Not movie tropes,
Yeah.
what we could do to freshen it up, I guess. And like the concept of masks.
Yeah.
It is makes people so much spookier. It
Mhm.
really does. But is it possible to have a major slasher villain that isn't in a mask?
Technically, I think this literally answers your question without responding to the spirit of the question.
Yeah.
Technically, Freddy doesn't have a mask, but
Yeah,
also
yeah, 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 yeah.
he's got
Like,
his deal.
he's got,
So
yeah, yeah.
so that doesn't really answer your question. Could you? I think no.
Yeah, I think I maybe no also.
yeah, to be a slasher. Although you asking that made me think of like weirdly I think one of my favorite slashers, if not my favorite slasher, might actually be Ghostface. Just because.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
And he's also like kind of funny.
Yeah. But because I think that one
I love
also,
him for his sense of humor.
and what's cool about it is that because more than any other slasher, Ghostface is always a dude, and because they always lose at the end. You know what I mean? Like, and there's just a new person picks it up. But like, you always get the sense when anybody's running from Ghostface, it's like that's like they're kicking him downstairs and shit. They're throwing stuff at him. It's like that's a guy. That's a guy that you could kill.
Totally.
All right. Those are the questions for this week. Those are our thoughts on Halloween ends. Let us know what you think if you watch it. Leonard
This
Kim
is supposed to be the last, right? Or no?
Sure. I mean, sure. They've ended this franchise however many times,
Yeah,
but and Leonard Kim even asked in the chat, big looming question, did it end? I will credit where it's due. This franchise is coming back, obviously, but they don't like tease it in this movie. This movie like ends on as definitive a note, like really definitive note, except for the fact that Roxy did bring up a loophole. What if that actually wasn't Michael? what if that actually wasn't Michael at the end?
I'm super not confident it was, except for how long it takes him to bleed out.
Oh my fucking God. Yeah. Anyway, so Roxy,
That would feel like such a wild retcon.
It's like, oh, by the way, that wasn't Michael. Like, fucking goddamn. Michael's in a beach in Hawaii, just fucking living life, just like I did my live, laugh, love.
It's like, why is Michael in that cave?
Wow, great question. Also, is it implied that when he kills that one guy, he starts to like get more powerful? Like he does like this.
Yeah, he's like,
yeah, it's like, what the fuck is happening? Anyway.
Yeah, that was weird. That was like, that's how he gets the juice.
Yeah. Roxy, remind the kids at home where they can find you.
Everywhere at Roxy Stryer. I also wanted to tell them because I was going to tweet this, but it seemed too bitchy. Just about Halloween.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Sex and the City or you never watched?
No.
My God, Laurie Strode was fucking Carrie in this movie, typing at her diary. Like,
God damn it.
It seemed like she had been watching Sex and the City. The way that they did this, I was like, these are Sex and the City fans. Anyway, sorry. At Roxy Stryer.
It's so funny. What if life and death are the same? God damn it! I don't care about this. Get this out of the movie.
How did I just turn on Sex and the City? Yeah. What just happened?
Cool.
And would he actually be good in bed?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe instead of death, we should choose cherry blossoms. Is there context? There's context in the movie for that line. Is there context in your book? Like, do the people reading your book know what you're referencing?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Anyway, Laurie Strode should not write a book. She's great. She's great at killing Michael Myers. Should not write a book. You can find me at DJ Talks Trash. You can find the show at Only Stupid Answers everywhere that matters, but on Twitter.
You got the vowels from stupid.
And we'll see you all next time. Thank you, everybody.